How many of us in this room feel stressed from school or work? I know I can put my hand up quite high. Now, for some of us, this stress may just be passive, coming or going with each new deadline or exam. But for others, this may manifest itself in a deeper, more chronic issue, such as depression, anxiety, or mood disorders. Now, researchers are looking at a new revolutionary form of medicine that can be used to treat these disorders. One that you may know of, but in a very different light. I'm talking about shrooms, or psychedelic psilocybin. In the 2022 book, Managing Treatment-Resistant Depression, Dr. Natalie Gukasayan of the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine is quoted saying that psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy has shown promise in treating these disorders. So whether it's you, someone you love, someone who sits next to you in class or in the office, or simply a stranger who is walking down the street, this new technology may be revolutionary for the way we see treatment today. So today I'd like to talk to you about the effect that psychedelic psilocybin has on the brain, the way that this treatment and its legalization may combat drug usage stigma here in the United States among young adults, and what exactly psychedelic psilocybin could mean for the future of depression treatment in comparison to our current needs today. So please, journey with me into the world of magical mushrooms, where we may find them to be a little less magical and a little more medicinal than we previously thought. So first, what is the effect exactly of magical mushrooms on the brain? Some of the most commonly known symptoms are altered perception of space and time and a sudden change in emotion or mood. This is because psilocybin is intaken by the user, where it then goes through a series of metabolic processes to be broken down into psilocin. From there, psilocin is intaken by neurotransmitters, sort of like a lock and key configuration. This lock and key then goes down a series of downstream signaling that boosts serotonin levels in the brain. This boost in serotonin then minimizes the effects of depression, anxiety, and mood disorders. In a 2022 research article published by the National Center of Biotechnology Information, research shows that psilocybin actually contains no naturally addictive chemicals. However, after prolonged usage, the brain can begin to become hardwired to want these drugs, to crave them more, and that could be a problem. However, we actually see this happening more often than we think, even here on our campus, with another drug that we know very well, one that even I'm guilty of. I'm talking about caffeine. Whether it's your morning cup of joe, your midday energy drink, or a soda with dinner, caffeine may be used in a similar way to boost energy levels and minimize fatigue. But after prolonged usage, when we're without it, we may experience extreme levels of tiredness and headaches. Next, how may the legalization of psychedelic psilocybin affect drug usage stigma here in the United States? In a 2021 survey done by the National Institute on Drug Abuse, studies show that 8% of young adults in 2021 admitted to use of hallucinogens. That could mean here on Belmont's campus, 8 out of every 100 students could be using hallucinogens, whether it's for recreational pleasure or for self-medication on a regular basis. Some of the most commonly known hallucinogens here on college campuses are LSD, better known as acid, MDMA, better known as Molly or ecstasy, and psychedelic psilocybin, better known as shrooms. These all have very similar effects and are known more so for their party side, which here in Tennessee, of course, is illegal, both recreationally and medicinally, as well as other common drugs that we hear a lot about in the news, like marijuana. But this isn't the case everywhere. For states such as Colorado, this process has been mostly normalized and might just be a regular night out on the town. This discrepancy in legality between states can lead to a rift between peers, where one peer may think this is completely out of the ordinary, unheard of, and frowned upon, but their peer in Colorado might just think this is normal. By legalizing psychedelic psilocybin, we can see that rift begin to repair itself. And we can see that maybe students will realize the thing that they've thought has harmed us all along is actually more helpful than we know. And finally, how does this compare to our current means of depression treatment here in the United States? One of the most well-known treatments for depression is selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, also known as SSRIs. In a 2021 Healthline article published by Jessica DiGiusanto, she says that SSRIs are the most commonly prescribed antidepressant drug in the world. SSRIs work in the brain in a similar fashion to the lock and key mechanism I previously showed. However, their chemical means also alter different parts of the brain. So while the levels of depression may change, we also may see changes in personality of the patient. I personally have been affected by SSRIs through my sister. My older sister began taking SSRIs when she started high school, and over time I watched as her depression symptoms began to alleviate, but she began to change. Her irritability increased, her personality changed, her body image issues became worse, and the things that she used to know and love no longer became appealing to her. SSRIs also need to be taken every day, which may be tedious, expensive, and overwhelming for a college student who already has a lot on their plate. On the other hand, psychedelic psilocybin may only need to be taken once for a user to experience permanent effects. This is because the usage of psychedelic psilocybin has been compared to a near-death experience, in which the user wakes up and feels completely different about the way they see life. Their perspective may be entirely altered, and those symptoms of depression that they once experienced may be completely reversed. So while the long-term effects of psychedelic psilocybin as a drug have not been completely studied medicinally, we can see that our current means aren't exactly working for us now, and actually may be more harmful than they are helpful to us. So today, I was able to talk to you about magic mushrooms, psychedelic psilocybin, and how they may have potential in the research field today for treatment of depression, through the effects psilocybin has on the brain, how the legalization of this substance may combat drug usage stigma, and what this could mean for our future. We can see that this has strong potential in our society and may revolutionize the way we see drugs and medicine today. So the next time you hear about depression treatment or medicine in general, and you begin to think about chemicals, I implore you to stop. Wait just 1 minute. Think about it in a bit of a greener way, if you know what I mean.